Greetings, Inquisitor. Welcome to the next Holocron in the Darth Loquitur series. This is week 59. For any who aren't familiar, I go through my account's progress every week, all of the character upgrades, what I'm doing in the account, and then I talk about the plans for the future, what I'm building, and how I'm going about doing that. And got a lot to talk about this week, so with that in mind, let's get into it, and let's see what happened in the account this week. We do have a target of getting Jango Fett to relic level by week 61, so 2 weeks from now. The interesting thing, I've been working on his gear and trying to build this Armatech fusion furnace, and we're most of the way there. We still got a ways to go on the HoloLens, and then we still need pieces down here for the cell injector. So Jango Fett feels quite a ways away. However, the game is trying really hard to give me fives. So I have all the gear on the left side that I need, and on the right side, I only need 1.5 Cairo shock prods. So we may switch gears. If we get some shock prods over the next week, it may look more efficient than to just go ahead and do fives. He does have a ship that we're looking for our fleet, so getting him to relic level will help our Umbran starfighter and put us in a better position there. So it may be that he's going to be a better next relic than Qui-Gon, or the Jango Fett build, but we'll take a look at that in next week. Qui-Gon Jinn, we definitely want to get him to relic as fast as we can too. Remember, we're going to try to make kind of a one-man team around him, with him at relic level and the Omicron, and then put some Jedi around him to make a defense that's a little bit hard to beat. He's held up on the next gear tier by some Mark V med packs. We'll get those over the course of the next week. It shouldn't be too much of a problem to get him up to gear 12 and start working on his gear 13 quite soon. When I started to mod Qui-Gon Jinn, I got a decent mod. Not good substats, but good speed. I slice it here, I got speed. I slice it, I get speed again. So even though the other three substats aren't that fancy, we do end up with a 5 speed hits. And then it feels like that mod is too good for Qui-Gon Jinn, so I actually end up not putting it on him. And I go with some more defensive sets. We're going to put some armor sets on him. And we do have a tenacity set on him. It's not really because I want the tenacity. I was just looking for the quality of the mods and the speed in a certain range. Here you can see I'm looking for something to replace this tenacity mod because it's not really what I want. But at the end of the day, it's okay. It'll get him started. When we get him up to relic level, we may want to change that out. And then I do decide already to commit the Omicron. Now, that's not going to help us too much with him at this low of a level, but it does mean that we can potentially do some testing with him in the next Grand Arena. With him on offense, he'll be a weaker version of the finished character that we expect to build, but we can still mess around with him and his Omicron a little bit. So I went ahead and applied that. I don't feel bad at all about the commitment. I don't feel like I needed to wait. And a lot of streamers, I think, are giving good advice, to kind of sit on the Omicrons and see how they perform and see what happens before you start spending those materials. But the way I think of it, once we start to figure out what Omicrons are truly the best, by then, we'll be on the way to the second Omicron and we can make better decisions from there. I feel like you'll get Omicrons, maybe not once a month, but maybe once every 6 weeks or so. We should be able to earn an Omicron somewhere out of the game. And especially if you're doing Cantina refreshes and you can get one. Even the drop rate is horrendous, but you still do get one every now and then. So I feel like if I accidentally put an Omicron on a character that's considered third best, I don't really mind. It's fine. We'll get more Omicrons in the future, and we'll be able to make those decisions as we go along. We are able to get an upgrade here on the Magna Guard and get him to gear 11. Not quite to gear 12 yet. The rest of the characters here in our journey guide for Master Kenobi, I don't see anything else that looks really easy to gear up. We do have General Grievous, and we've taken him to relic level 0. We've just left him at gear 13. Since the galactic power isn't that big of a deal anymore, I do want him better for fleet. I do want him at a higher relic level to make a little bit meaner of a defense in Grand Arena. So there's no reason not to go ahead and apply the levels to the relic. So here we're going up to relic level 5 with General Grievous. Now, It is a commitment here. We're low on signal data. So right here you can see I'm taking some time to think and consider what I want to do. I did take a break from farming signal data for a moment to farm up Mission and a T3M4 so I could get Jedi Knight Revan into the account. So that did set me back quite a ways on farming my materials for relic levels. So I'm limited on what I have, but I'm going to go ahead and try to take Grandmaster Yoda here to as high of a relic level as I can get then before I start running out of supplies. And we can see that that blue signal data is the limiting factor. So once we get to relic 4 here on Grandmaster Yoda, that's going to be it. We're tapped out on signal data at the bottom end. So we'll farm up some more of that in the coming weeks, and we'll continue to apply relic levels as we can. We'll work on Kenobi, we'll work on some of these other characters, getting them up to relic levels that we want. I'm able to put a couple more stars on things like 3PO and Chewie and that IG-11. And I do decide that it's time now to take Aayla Secura all the way up to, respective level and start working on her. She's another small Jedi that we can put in that Qui-Gon team, and she's got some pretty interesting stats and skills, so we go ahead and get her up and running. Now, as soon as I start looking at her mods, here we are again with this 23 speed mod that feels too good to put on a garbage character. So I go over to Moff Gideon real quick, and I put that mod onto Moff Gideon. He's a character that we know is going to want speed. He wants it, he loves it, he needs it, so I just went ahead and gave him an additional 10 speed from a 13 to a 23 on his square mod there. Then we go back to Aayla, and we're going to do a crit chance set with speed set. And it might be better to do multiple crit chance sets, but we want the speed set. And then I'm going to go over here and get this Rebel Y-Wing running. Remember we said we're probably going to place this with the Malevolence fleet and try to make some kind of off-brand fleet there with Malevolence. So we're going to get that ship up and running too, as the last of my pilotless ships. Can't put any more stats on the Malevolence from where we are right now. I am going to upgrade the reinforcements on Umbran Starfighter because in certain matchups I want to take that as a reinforcement. So that wraps up the progress for the week. We added another 60,000 galactic power to the account. We started a new character. We got several gear upgrades. We opened up a new ship and got that up and running. So that adds galactic power. We're at week 59, 2.23 million. 21 relics, 33 zetas. My C team is still sitting in the top 50. It's becoming less relevant, of course, because of the changes with Grand Arena giving you crystals out of there. However, I do want decent placement in the squad arena because getting those tokens for the shop is worthwhile. So don't give up on squad arena altogether. You want to go ahead and get what placement you can. If you have to play a bunch of battles and it's a struggle and you just don't want to work that hard, it's fine. But don't let yourself slip to 1300 or something like that. If you can place better, do fight 1 or 2 battles a day to make sure that you keep your placement. In fleet, my negotiator's still getting me top 5. A lot of times I get first place. My project is still Django week 61, but depending on how things shake out next week with Qui-Gon Jinn getting to gear 12 and 5s, potentially being at relic level, that whole group of characters, all 3 of those characters I may want to relic, so we're going to say that the project is Django week 61, but it may be a different character, and I'm just not going to attach any gear, and we'll see how it shakes out next week. The plan for farming next week is the same. I'm just all in on fleets, Vulture Droid, Hyena Bomber, BTLB, and the TIE Bomber. And we do have the free pack for the TIE Bomber, so we're getting some free shards from that this month, which is nice. The Armor and Bo-Katan. The Armor, because I want to build him or her up to join the C team. And Bo-Katan, obviously, is one of the requirements for JMK, so we've got to keep working on that. In fleet, we're doing 3 farms with the B1, the Gauntlet, and the Rebel Y-Wing. The Gauntlet we can also buy out of the fleet shop, so that's we should be able to develop that ship to 7 stars in good order. Cantina, we're working on signal data. Mods, we're going to just farm speed mods. Refreshes, doing 3 on everything, and doing Cantina refreshes on every energy day and Cantina energy day. Then Squad Arena Store, we're still buying Prestige once a day. We still have more capital ships to build, so we'll probably be doing that for quite some time. In the Fleet Store, we're looking for Zeta Mats, and everything else goes to feed the Shard Shop to get more gear to keep the cycle going. I did have a little bit of a dilemma this week thinking about how fast to build galactic power. I do have the clones in a position where I could potentially build the 501st clone team. Shock T is still pretty small, but Fives is getting up there. I could put the Zeta on him, build that team, and I was taking a serious look at that. But then I thought, really what I'm just going to do is run myself out of credits. And I'm not sure building that team and trying to find mods for them, and I don't know that I'm in the position to mod up another team right now. And at the end of the day, if I just end up running myself out of credits and ship materials, it means that if a good mod shows up in the shop, I don't have the option to buy it. So I really feel like I want to try to run my credits back up to around 20 million, my ship building materials around 10 to 15 million, and have a bank. And then I'll use that bank, and when I drop too low, I'll kind of sit on it again. So I think the rate at which I'm going to build my account is going to be metered by the gear, of course, how fast I can apply gear to the characters I have. But in terms of new characters, I'm really going to gate that behind the credits that I have in the bank. So week by week, I may build like one character, maybe one ship every couple weeks, and we'll try to continue to manage that currency in a way where we can still leverage the mod store without being broke. Conclusion is, stick to the plan, and we can just start some characters sooner than we previously planned to, because the GP won't hurt us now. So if we start some more low-level characters, it's not going to punish our placement. So it will allow us to do that, but we'll do it at a measured rate. Then the next question is how fast to add relic levels, and on that, I feel like it's just, we're going to add relic levels as fast as I can farm materials. So we're going to be spending a lot of that Cantina energy, all of it really, on those signal data. And then each week, I'm just going to apply as much signal data as I can. For the most part, we've been able to keep up with the other materials needed. I do have enough impulse detectors for 1 relic 8. But putting relic levels on characters is going to be limited by my signal data, let's say for the first 5 or 6 levels. And then for the levels after that, I do have, obviously a lot of gear crunching that I have to do to get my relic 6, 7, and 8 levels. And we really don't have any impulse detector materials. I got rid of everything I had that I could spare to get 20 for my first relic 8 in the bank. So that's what I'm looking at, and so my second relic 8 is gonna take a while coming around, and I might have to take a break from relicing characters to specifically farm those materials for the impulse detectors. We'll see. I have been buying more of those materials out of the shard shop, so that may allow me to avoid having to actually specifically farm those pieces of gear. And there's no reason not to take the relics up now, so generally my strategy is going to be where I really want one of these 1 relic teams. There's no reason not to take that character as far as I can reasonably on relic levels. So like Grievous we took to relic 5, we'll take him all the way to relic 7. Mon Mothma, for example, if we relic her as a character, we'll just take her all the way to relic 7. So on characters like that we're hoping to have as the cornerstone of their team. Qui-Gon Jinn, for example, I think his requirement is relic level 3 or something like that for the Kenobi journey, but I do plan to take him all the way to 7 as well, and maybe even to 8 eventually, depending on how that team works out. But again, how good Kenobi is, or how good Qui-Gon Jinn is going to determine what that team can do on defense. So. And there's no punishment for taking him onto a higher relic anymore. So we'll have to keep a focus on those higher relic materials so that we can get some of those high relics. That's going to wrap it up for the account review for week 59. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think of how this account's working? How many people out there, I wonder, have followed in the footsteps and built some of the same teams that I've built? I've seen quite a few of my followers with a Relic 5 Spy. I love that took off and that Relic Spy is helping out so many people. I found that to be a very rewarding character. So, leave in the comments down below, guys. I'd love to know what's the most inspirational thing that you've learned off the channel as far as team building, and is the discussions over the last week helping you guys think about what to do for the new GAC system? I hope it is. But if it's not, then for sure get me some questions down there, and I'll be able to address that in my next weekly update or a different video, and we can keep talking about it. It's very interesting. I'm really excited to see the new dynamic in this new GAC system. I think our account here is positioned to do very well. We do have to get some more fleet stuff in the account, but I think we'll be playing up in no time and having fun with it. Thank you all for watching. Remember to hit that like saber on your way out if you haven't done that already. It's for free. It helps me. It helps the channel, and I would appreciate it a lot if you guys would do that. Also, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to watch more videos like this in the future. And I always brag about our Discord at the end of the videos, and I got to do it again. We got a great Discord. We got a lot of people over there. Good questions being asked and answered, and some humor, some meme stuff over there. We got all kinds of fun stuff for people. So head on over there. If you haven't seen it already, the link is in the description of the video down below. Just click on that. You can join the Discord, and I hope to see you over there. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next Holocron.